those of you that don't read, you have no advantage over those that can't. If you're choosing not to read, and here is a, love that word, caveat. Here's a caveat. The right stuff, Heat and You magazine don't quite crack it. So, I know you're reading, but the content, you've got to, but it's a start. It's a start. I'd give you that. You can move on to something else. Okay, then I use examples from people that have been successful, that have used their minds to become successful. And I also use my own examples, because that's what you're paying for. So the guy is, tell me what you did that got you here. So I'll tell you a few things. And I use sport. I have a college, a sport and fitness college, and I go around to the universities to make sure they follow the rules, that their students can come to me and my students can go to them. And I saw Professor Paul Avis at UWC about 10 years ago, just using an example because he's sport mad. He played tennis for South Africa. He played against McEnroe. And he said, mental toughness is determined by your reference points. Have you had experiences that you can turn to and say, this is nothing compared with that? If I could manage that, I could manage this. Like a boxer. For a boxer, a punch on the nose is a lot less painful than if I punched you on the nose. He also said, depends on what you're eating. Now that was weird. I thought, Paul, why would you say food? He says you eat for your body and your mind. And he says, just eat good, wholesome food, for heaven's sake. Don't, unless you've been to a dietitian or it's prescribed, don't take pills instead of food. If you're taking supplementation that hasn't been recommended through a proper analysis from your dietitian or medical doctor, you're probably just creating very expensive urine. Oh, if you want to read more about that, Ben Goldacre's Bad Science, wonderful book. Absolutely good read. Tim's book's pretty good too, Tim Noakes. Hey? Kind of illustrates what's happened to us in the last few years. And I've really enjoyed his talks and books. It's good to just add to your intellectual capital. Anyway, Ava said to me, Steve, you like this subject, mental toughness. You're ready with a springbuck. Why don't you legitimate your position? Study it. Do the research. Do a PhD. Then you can one day claim to be an expert. You can say to an audience, trust me, I'm a doctor. However, is an expert in exercise science. Tim's research says that it's the mind, not the body, that is your limitation. It signals fatigue before the muscles. It works like a fuel gauge. Ping! Fuel gauge shows empty or red. You think empty. No, reserve. Reserve. That's when you nail the opposition. When everyone's feeling, I can't go another step, I can't see another client, I can't spend another hour on this, that's when you nail the opposition. That's when that 0.5% comes into it. Those are the inches. When you're saying, I can't go another step, and you can, because the biopsy says there's lots of energy in that muscle, you think there's nothing. That's the difference. You can't phone a friend. I am going to tell you what it is, because I did the study, trust me. It's the ability to manage your mind so that it directs your energy to the right place at the right time for the right reason. You do not waste energy. You give your best performance despite what's happening here or out there. That is mental toughness. Do you think it can improve your mental strength, ladies and gentlemen? Of course you can. Just like it can improve your physical strength. If I put you on a fitness program today, within 6 months you'll look different. If I put you on a mental strength program today, in 6 months' time you'll think different. Think better, in my opinion. Okay, so the secret or the trick is, there's no trick. Mental toughness is a complex process that you can learn. It's got 7 components. The first one, concentration. We'll go through that. The second, composure. The third, controlled aggression. The fourth, confidence. The fifth, calculated risks. The sixth, competence. And the seventh, commitment. There's the formula. You follow those. You dig down into each of those. You learn as much as you can about each of those. And you become mentally tough. There they are. The first one, concentration. It's the ability to blend and mix and develop intention with attention. Intention with attention. Where on earth do I want to go? What do I want to do with what must I do right now? Balancing those two. Sometimes they're different. And reconciling intention. So the intention is about having your dream. And you hear this from every speaker. But it's simply knowing what on earth do you want. And it gives you passion. It gives you purpose. And it doesn't matter when you start. You can start at 12 or you can start at 63 or 70. It doesn't matter. Passion and purpose. The challenge with a dream, and by the way, you've all got them, subliminal or strategic. You've got one. So you might as well make it strategic, is that dreams have a gap between reality and what you wanted. And that gap drives dissonance and disappointment. You've got to learn to manage the dissonance and the disappointment of not achieving the dream. The path to the dream will also have shocks and surprises as you find your strategic planning all the way. And a great book on that is Black Swan, Nassim Taleb. He talks about becoming robust and resilient to those shocks and surprises. Good book. He also talks in his newer book, Anti-Fragile, about gaining and growing from shocks and surprises. So not just being able to manage them, but to grow. That's an amazing concept, if you think about it. Steve Jobs, in his book, wrote, "Your time is limited. Everything falls away in the face of death. All fear of embarrassment, all fear of failure. There is no reason good enough not to follow your dream." And I add to that, not even the dissonance, not the shocks, not the surprises, not the disappointment. It's not good enough to diss your dreams because of that. Just keep hammering away at it. But dreams, ladies and gentlemen, without preparation, is just a waste of time. In 1984, Daley Thompson wins the decathlon at the Olympics. The press hail him as the world's greatest athlete. The journalists run up to him and say, "Daley, why would they call you the world's greatest athlete?" He says, "Possibly because I'm the world's best prepared athlete." "Oh, pray tell. What does that mean?" He says, "Well, if I'm competing against you and you're training twice a day, I'll train 4 times a day. If I'm competing against you and you're training 3 times a week, I'll train 6 times a week. If I'm competing against you and you're training in the rain, I'll train in the snow. I know whenever I went to a competition, I was the best prepared athlete at that competition. Maybe that's why they call me the world's greatest athlete." Ladies and gentlemen, nobody can out-prepare you. Nobody. You can hide behind any excuse you like. Nobody can out-prepare you. It's your choice. Bruce Lee says, in Jeet Kune Do, his philosophy, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times." In South African terms, that's the oak that's going to moer you. Let's move on to composure. Composure. Second component. Composure is a state of personal mastery, most yogish, where you are ready for action with a calm demeanor. Ready for action with a calm demeanor. Concentration and composure together gives you that gateway to what they call the zone. You've probably heard the flow state, the zone in sport. And of course you've heard of the psychologist that made it famous, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. No, you haven't. But you could Google him. Is success linked to arousal? Yeah. If you're not aroused, you won't try. If you're over-aroused, that's the problem too, isn't it? Now, he obviously links his success to arousal. Steyn. Probably links his injuries to it too. You see, ladies and gentlemen, our brains are hardwired. You have a primordial brain and a wonderful book. Here we go. Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman. Understanding that fast brain and the slow brain. You see, you have a fast one, old instinctive brain, which makes you make incredibly quick decisions, but also makes you panic. You have a slow brain, a newer one, which makes you rational and slower and careful, but they call it choking. Because you shouldn't be thinking, you should be doing. You should be using instinct. Now, balancing those two is the trick. Both extremes, you make more mistakes. You've got to understand that either end has a hazard. I'll give you an example. A bat and a ball together cost R1.10. The bat is R1 more expensive than the ball. How much is the ball? And if you said 10 cents, your quick brain hijacked you. It's 5 cents. Yeah. See, you answered too quickly. You didn't have to answer. You were lapsed into a competitive nature, and that's why we make mistakes. Pressure can turn a lump of coal over geological times into a flawless diamond. It can also turn the average person into a complete basket case. You see, when you're baited, pressure drives up arousal. You're angry, you want to fight, especially sports people. Which sports example in 2006 did you see that?
Now Materazzi did what? This is going to give us a bit more of a clue. He said something. He certainly said something. Now what happens? He's saying some more. Well, the pictures tell the story. He leaves football in disgrace.
So it's a metaphorical red card you get when you're over-aroused and you lose composure. You should never allow people to outwit you, as Materazzi did to Zidane. What did he do? He said something about his mother, apparently. It could have been sister or mother. Guys don't care. Anyone, diss a mother or sister, the guys get the mood in. It's quite simple. You don't. It's an instinct. It's primordial. We think we own them. We don't, but we think so, and we want to blixen everyone that, you know. So all Materazzi had to do was start saying things about his mother. Zidane, I like her, your mama. She's got nice, you know. That was it. Okay? Now we all have the sword of Damocles over us all the time. In one way or another, whether it's our relationship, our job, health, life, it's there. And it's a horse's hair, if you know the story. You have to practice under pressure to do well under pressure. We're excessively aroused, ladies and gentlemen. There's wonderful research in predictably irrational Dan Ariely. We become defensive. We blame more. We get conspiratorial. We think they're out to get us, whoever they is. Carries on praying. You've got to sort this one out first. Not the opposition, not the competition, not you. It's you. You're the problem. Bigfoot just a few years ago. These people were wearing these bits of plastic. There. Why do you wear that? Oh, it balances my energy meridian. Wait, what? It balances my energy meridian. Your what? What the hell is that? There's no proof that you even have those things. How do you balance them? No, but you see, it's What did you pay me? 400. What? Yeah, but you must understand, Steve, it's just a placebo effect. If I believe it, it works. Cool, I like that, but how can you believe it? How can you believe it? It's a wallet grab. I was coming back from France recently, and they're selling these things on the plane. The sleep brace that picks up natural frequencies that are believed to improve your quality of sleep. And if you can see in the dark there, what's it, 235 euros? And the idiots buy it. Now, we've all got our superstitions we believe in. I'm not who might you judge them. But, note, when you're outraged about people that take rhino horn for their sex libido or their cancer, you can't judge it. You're doing it too, at a different end of the spectrum. They believe it. And by the way, for those of you that do that, what part of smoking kills are you still having a problem with? What evidence are you waiting for? Table mountains are far better bets. Jump! One component is 7, let's go through them quickly because you need to go and do what you need to go and do. Controlled aggression. Not naked aggression, controlled aggression. Controlled aggression is where you up the intensity, increase the energy. You get off your ass. You do something. I know this is corny, but Will Smith has willpower. He claims that you may be, to his other fellow actors, more talented than me, you may be smarter than me, you may be sexier than me, but you will never outwork me. Never. Let's say we're in a competition. Each of us on a treadmill, you're on this one, I'm on that one. There's only 2 possible results. 1, I'm gonna win. 2, I'm gonna die. Because I'm not getting off before you. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody can outwork you. I'm not saying you must work hard all the time and get all stressed. That's not the point. The point is it's a choice. You can outwork anyone as a competitive advantage. You can out-prepare anyone, you can eat properly, you can exercise regularly, you can read. You're well on your way. Controlled aggression is about putting pressure on the opposition. You must do that. You must magnify your strengths. You don't diss the opposition. You magnify your strengths so that they diminish. You need to be believable. That dog, he was going footsy. Doesn't matter how much it's No. Shane Warne, on the other hand, was believable. When Shane Warne bowled, the opposition weren't just facing, or the batsman, that ball. They faced every single ball he was capable of bowling. They never knew what was coming. So they were anxious, and they lost their skills. The press said, Warne summoned up panic, and like Warne's faithful dog, panic came panting up. You've got to sow panic by magnifying your strengths. The 4th component, confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, opportunities increase or decrease depending on how confident you are. If you're confident when you start a project, you're halfway to success. If you're not confident, you're halfway to failure. It's just one of those things. We are human in that way. So you must decide, are you underconfident? Dangerous. Overconfident? Very dangerous. Supremely confident? Like Lady Goldilocks? Perfect. Nice bit. He is supremely confident. But the example I prefer is him. Muhammad Ali. He was interviewed by Michael Parkinson, and I want to show you a bit of the interview.
When people ask me who I most enjoyed interviewing, I'm unable to give them an answer. If they ask me who was the most remarkable man I ever met, I answer without hesitation, Muhammad Ali.
When they told me I was going to do your show, it was an honor. I like people that make me think. You talk, and you know, it's a brainy man. He's not just an ordinary fella. You think it's easy, come take his position. You'll find out that I'm a witty person, and it's kind of hard to talk to a man like me. Don't point at me.
Sorry. It's something that...
See, we black folks don't like white folks pointing at me.
But it's all right for you to point at me. But why do you say that? I mean, do you mean that?
Say what?
You black folks don't like white folks?
No, I'm joking.
You're joking, eh? That's good. Sounds like...
The champion of the whole world can whoop every man in Russia, every man in America, every man in China, every man in Japan, every man in Europe, every man in America. The champion of the whole world. That sounded big then. So I kept working until I did it. Not only the champion of the whole world, but better than all of those before me.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You're not as dumb as you look.
So not just champion of America, of Africa, of Europe, of England, but champion of the whole world, but not just world champion, the best champion ever. So I kept on working until I did. Nobody can outwork you. Nobody. But we struggle to express confidence because as South Africans we conflate confidence and arrogance. You cannot mix those two, but we do because we're stupid. Arrogance cannot be made up into confidence. You can do a lot with makeup, and this is a warning to the gentleman. This might be offensive. See what you can do with makeup? Makeup is absolutely amazing. You can do that. And you just got to make a few strokes, make a few confessions, and there you are. This is all. Calculated risks, 0.5. We've got 7, fifth one. It's about creating new value. It's about going beyond what you're used to. It's about taking... Now, you've got to be careful when you take calculated risks, because you can hurt yourself. He took calculated risks. When he opened an airline, he said to Boeing, tell you what, I've got a record company. I don't want to lose that. So, if this airline thing doesn't work, can I give the planes back? They said, sure. So he covered his risk. He covered his downside. You see, if you don't take risks, you're going to achieve nothing. Life's a lot more fun when you say yes rather than no. You're going to regret a few things you said yes about, but you're going to regret more you said no about. You see, cater for the downside. Cater for the downside. To take calculated risks, ladies and gentlemen, you must innovate and you must improvise. Unless you're innovating and improvising, the opposition is going to go straight past you, because they can do all that you can do. Innovate like Gates, or improvise like whose side? Exactly. Made millions out of a YouTube thing, cribbing American Rodeo.
Open Gangnam Style.
Improvisation. He didn't invent that. Just simple improvisation. The sixth one, we can move it on a bit. Competence. Competence, where you create new capacity. Not new, but new capacity. You learn, you grow. It's that simple. You learn, you grow. Real competence, not perceived competence, not thinking you're a big deal when you're not. The Dunning-Kruger effect, worth Googling. Or some Irish one.
Doing a maths degree. Okay. Do you honestly believe that you are the next pop idol?
I think only time will tell.
Fabulous. Off you go.
rising up from the streets. Did my time, took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive. It's the eye of a tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. Pray in the night as he watches us the fall in the eye of time.
That's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. You think you're a big deal. In Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell writes about the Matthew effect. And it's a long story, but it's basically about scaffolding. You get one thing in place, then you build another, then you build another. And he claims it takes 10,000 hours to develop expertise. Now that's a little bit of a diss, because 10,000 hours is a long time. The talent code is a bit more optimistic. It says you can learn faster, remember more. In Moneyball, Michael Lewis writes, it's unbelievable how much you don't know about the game you've been playing all your life. And I'm telling you it's the same for sales and for your products. It's unbelievable what you don't know about this game you've been playing. And you're saying, oh, wow. Learn faster than the change in your industry. But go deeper. We tend to take a strategic approach to learning. We want to tick the boxes. We want the certificate. We want to be present. Do I get my certificate now? No. Don't focus on the certificate. Focus on the learning. The learning occurs at the bottom of the iceberg. It's there. We can all get qualifications and tick the boxes. Learn your craft, ladies and gentlemen. Practice your skill and polish your act. Then you find you won't have to chase money. Money will chase you. Learn, unlearn, relearn. We struggle with the unlearn. The problem is not getting new ideas into your brain, it's getting the old ones out. And there's such a wonderful life to live. Let's go to the last one, commitment. Number 7, commitment. It's doing what you said you were going to do, when you said you're going to do it, in the way you said you're going to do it. It's displaying integrity. It's being an example of what you claim. It's being disciplined. I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. But the truth is, the sad truth for all of us, is that we don't fully commit. We all have wounds. They're physical, emotional. We've got wounds ad nauseam. My blog is that. My website is that. By all means, please go on it. I'd love you to read those things. I'm not going to close by wishing you luck, because if you develop your mental toughness, you don't need luck. You will make your own luck. You see, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Thank you.